Hi, everybody. This is Joanna. Thank you so much for tuning in today. What a beautiful, loving day. I just love it when the sun comes out. Luckily, I live in a place where the sun is out all the time. And we're just so appreciative of all the energy that the Holy Father of the Sun that provides us, and the moon energies of the Mother that allow us that magnetic pull to constantly reach out and transform. Today, for our Ascension healings and wisdoms and tips to live practically in alignment with who you are as a soul essence, creating matter, creating your body every moment, allowing yourself to restructure and understand who you are as spirit, creating greater health, greater wealth, greater abundance in who you are as spirit. We say abundance not in the vibrational term of money and resources, although that's a part of it, but we say abundance is who you are as the all, as source, a vibration of allness. That is the Christic alignment, the Christed vibrational, all multidimensional alignment that we are. Again, transcending all dogma, transcending everything that has been limited to us. Roles, definitions, socioeconomic definitions of who we are, who we think we are, who we've been told we are, who we've been taught who we are, and just breaking the box and the boundaries on everything. Going through an ascension as a collective, that's why we're all moving through what we're moving through as personal, within as without. What we see within our collective is a version, reflection held within our vibration for us to reflect upon and see where we fit within it and how we can choose greater aligned, spiritual aligned choices so that we're creating a new reality. And what we wanted to talk about today, I was musing, with my teens and my soul self, and I'm just doing that reflective alignment with who I am as a soul, and just understanding the reflections and the shifts and the transitions that I've been going through, healing many, many years of varying degrees of challenge and trauma and drama, and understanding that as you awaken, you align with more of that divine essence and that divine gratitude for who you are with spirit, that divine journey that is a beautiful adventure. And I'm so grateful, I forgot to mention that our books are now on Barnes and Noble. So it was really great that I was looking last night. I was shown some links of where our books are now found on Barnes and Noble, not just on Amazon. And so we've written 3 books about the ascension process. And what really inspired me to write my very first book was the elegance and the beauty that each and every one of us have within our unique threading of who we are with Source. And because I've been attuned to capture and move within, if you will, that song, that harmonic song of what Source really offers us, and it's truly beautiful. And this is what we wanted to talk about today in alignment with what we're going to talk about. Part of my musing was, well, now that I'm stepping into this new version of who I am and really truly enjoying who I am, because the first part of my life, I'm 51, and my first 51 years have been about misrepresentations of the roles that we come as divine feminine, the roles that I've seen through dysfunction, the many, 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 many myriad of lifetimes through the collective of the divine feminine, the collective of the ancestors that I come with in the multidimensional galactic star councils, and all of the beings that I work with at a universal multiverse level. And I'm speaking this fast because I'm trying to get everything in, and I want to make these videos shorter. So please feel free that you know that these codes and everything is being offered at a multidimensional Christic vibration, because that's what we offer when I open up my portal of who I am. Multidimensional Christic codes that the angels and the heavens and your guides and your healing teams are with you, assisting in massaging the codes that we offer in these stories, because you're here because you get part of these stories, because I tune in to connect with those that are in the vibration of the Christic honoring, so that you have the codes and the information placed when you need it, where you need it, how you need it, and at what time they get activated. So if you listen to this message 2 or 3 times, you will receive a different message each time you listen to it. And that's part of the multidimensional Christ consciousness. That is part of the multidimensional Christ energies, vibrations, and codes that we have within our allness, that we can activate and own and operate from as the essence of all that we are, so that we actually enjoy is what I'm getting to, so that we actually enjoy our oneness, that fluid song and that fluid harmony of who we are with Source. And it's placing ourselves within that flowing, loving, allowing receivership of just being with Source and being fun with that, and allowing our life to come to new vibrancy because of that. And when we do, we then pull into a new perspective of releasing the programs and patterns and habituations of 3D, being completely egocentric and run by making sure I've got to get the bills paid, and, I've got to get this job over that person, and I've got to make sure I've got my new wardrobe, and whatever it is that we think about at 3D levels. They're separated from our essence of spirit. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, what we're saying that is in these transitions of ascension, not only are we clearing and healing, and it's all in alignment with the cycles of the sun and the moon. So again, it would be best, and I honor this, if those that are really excited about being sovereign and being in that self-care leadership of who they are becoming through ascension, that you take time to journal and create that daily self-care experience, because you get really attuned with your cycles. Right now, as you can tell about how fast I'm talking, I'm in a creative ignition cycle where I'm ready to capture new information. I'm ready to start new. I'm ready to inspire something new. I'm boom, 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 boom. And this is my cycle, a new moon cycle. So that I'm ready to place things out there as these new inspirations, and why my teams activate me in the mornings about new things I didn't think about yesterday. So as we're moving through these ascension experiences, part of this new becoming as the essence is releasing the limitations and the clothing, if you will, about those little layers of skin, the snake skin, and peeling these off as the regeneration aspects of who we are, and why we must allow ourselves to go through those tower moments, to go through those death moments, so that we understand that releasing what was meant to occur. Because it held us in limitation in some way. Oftentimes, that as I've written in my books, we won't understand why it served us in the way that we did until later, through which we've gathered the wholeness of that experience and said, wow, I understand on a mental level, this is how it served me. Because look at me now. I understand at a spiritual level, this is how it served me. I mean, look at me now. I had all of those keys and gifts and wisdoms, but I wasn't fully using them. But now look at, I can now use all that I am as a spiritual leader and a master and a teacher. So it's always after the fact, and that's how spirit is. Spirit will show you what you need to see when you need to see it, and not a moment sooner. Spirit will gift you with what you need to see, how you need to see it, and what you need at that moment, not a moment sooner. But it's the ego that keeps running in these lack programs and lack patterns, especially if you're living in economic experiences where others are moving through their shadow energies and shadow experiences, and that quantum entanglement allows you to even get enmeshed in energies that might not be yours, and why that daily self-care is so important, so that you're continuing to harmonize and to actualize through your sense of center, not taking on the beliefs and the programs of others, and why that clearing and that cleansing and working with your own multidimensional bodies and fields and self allow you to stay in commandment of you, so that you know what your cycle is, you know how you're manifesting, you know how you're pressing out and co-creating as the version that you're meant to be as source, that fluidic moment of source. And so in that, I was musing this morning, which I've never thought of this before. It was quite like, okay, well, that was mind altering. I've just got to sit with this for a second, and I'm going to do some more pondering after we're done. But I was so excited about it, because now this next part of my life is really honoring and valuing and appreciating and playing in this new vibrational fullness of me. Releasing a lot of lack programs, a lot of projections that I'd taken on from others about, not wanting to shine, not wanting to make anybody else feel uncomfortable, and all of the things that we do to make ourselves fit in. And those are the socioeconomic conformity patterns that we take on, and that we attract. And then as we're clearing and releasing those fears and those negativities and those energies from psyche wounds, from being ostracized and bullied and so on, we're healing those by giving ourselves self-love, self-soothing, and self-care. We understand that, well, absolutely no, I'm meant to be this. This is how I feel. This is how I am. This is how I express myself, and I will shine. Becoming that full essence of you, and then getting comfortable in it. And what they offered me this morning was that not everything has to feel like such a battle and a transition into, standing up for yourself, because as a divine feminine, and as one that's come with great strengths and great voice and great passion, and moving through the egocentric experience and the traditionalities and the environments that I had moved through in varying degrees of abuse and manipulation and mental mental mind games and things like that. That's how I felt, as a person of light, and as one that wants to shine and bring great light and bring great, humanitarian experience and inspirations. And the world around me didn't necessarily seem to support where my experience was. But that was because there was informations within me that had so many lifetimes. And this is where this lifetime is so powerful, and want you to really soak within this. This is the lifetime where we're clearing 3 to 5D, as we've talked about so many times before. But we often forget to just sit and be loving and nurturing and full in that appreciation and that gratitude of how voluptuous and round and full you are in your love of source as essence of source. Because we get, so again, the patterns of egocentric is doing and becoming, and always making sure that you're creating your stability, you know, and you're creating your foundations and your home and whatever it means from those old programs. And so this new experience for me is not only, yes, okay, I've gone through all of those transitions, releasing so much density and clearing away from not this timeline, but so many others. And I'd forgotten to really take appreciation for, wow, I understand why I took on some of those attitudes and behaviors, because it was such a battle. It seemed like such a battle being here. To be able to express who I am as a creative, divine being that is very attuned to energy, to hearing the song of Gaia, to speaking to animals, to being the light person that I am, the vessel of light that I am, to inspire others too, that they also are vessels of light. When most people were absolutely closed and turned off and not understanding. But now that there's so much awakening going on, the attunement now is to have that intention to work with those that are absolutely awake and absolutely excited to turn on and be attuned to their Christic experience, so that they can learn to enjoy and vibrate in that experience of, wow, this is who I am. I get to play now. I get to be happy being me and playing being me. And this, shifting your total perspective of what we thought our experience here is on Earth. And that's mind altering. How can your experience now be a part of just playing and being excited and being playful and being full in being you? We say full in being this essence of who you are, physically, mentally, emotionally, etherically. Be full in being you, so that you're constantly feeding yourself. Wow, I'm so glad I thought about that today. That was a great mental inspiration that I've had in my oneness with my higher self and my soul and my ancestors and all of the beings that are with me in this room. And not in this room, because I'm connecting with beings in other timelines and other galaxies and other planets. Thank you so much for being with me and a part of this experience. Thank you, Holy Spirit, Mother, Father, and the Holy Christ consciousness and the many councils of light. Thank you. So again, it's the councils of light speaking with you, and oftentimes you forget that we are always a part of your everyday life, and we are very excited to see how you all shift into these myriad of timelines for yourselves to begin to get comfortable with a relaxed version of yourself and allow life and love to flow through you, to appreciate all that which is light, to appreciate your co-creation of life in a vibration that is exciting and joyful for your connection within it. Thank you. So I'm just seeing the councils of light. Thank you, Holy Mother, Father. Thank you, councils of light, and the beings that are watching us in this co-creation. So when we meet in this way, as I've always seen it, this podium, you know, this beautiful, you know, calling in, no, standing in the power of who you are, in this essence and this fullness of who you are, knowing that right now in your centeredness, we call in this beautiful creation of love, this beautiful creation of our oneness. There's meetings and there's councils and groups that you're threaded with at the vibration of who, the song of who you are, the song of who you are, and that every now moment you're creating this new reality. So we wanted to bring that in as part of the offering today as well, is not only to sit back and relax into the fullness of you are, of all that you are, and just relaxing and to have fun being you. This new version of you mentally, this new version of you vibrationally, this new version of you as your soul's essence with source, getting bigger and grander as a vibrational song. That's why your bodies will go through so many shifts as you're going through this new phase, usually after you've released. You're then going to go through a phase of recreating yourself and rewriting yourself and reorienting the cells, the body. If you're doing your nighttime, and I'm going to do a vlog about that on a nighttime healing routine, where you activate your cells, you activate the telomeres, you activate, you know, skin and hair, and accentuating your organs and your the blood cells. And in this, recentering into your now moment, because those of us that are, this is a really important part, and this is a really big healing tip. When you're going through releases, you open up to greater psychic, multidimensional energies, healings, and receivership. I'm speaking with them at the same time I'm speaking with you, and grounding new energy. Thank you, Holy Mother, Father, to Gaia. Thank you. My presence is grounding with the Gaia. Thank you. The all of me is becoming more interactive with the information's coming and receiving. Thank you. Just remember to guide, to ground and slow down. So they're showing me that this is part of the teaching that we're moving through. Most of the time when we're transitioning from one experience to another experience in a reality experience, we're so much on cruise control because of the ego patterning. And to get off that merry-go-round, that cycle, and to sit within that presence, being grounded with Gaia, so you're not taking up a whole lot of lower astral energies that are yanking and pulling at you, why grounding is so important when you're going through an acceleration phase, which is what I'm doing right now. And all of your multidimensional sensings, your psychic abilities, and all that you are as a multidimensional being, I'm learning new ways to practice with all of my allness that is tapping into things around me. And when we move through transition, we're continually letting go of the residue of what was. And if you're an empath, a crystal, highly psychic, highly intuitive, and your multidimensional fields turn on and your bodies turn on, you will still have the residue of those experiences that you're stepping out of. And you can call in your teams to assist you in clearing out those residues. Because what they've been showing me is that we're always in this cyclical, the infinity loop of releasing what was from 3D, releasing what was, centering in the now, that pillar of light that offers you the new light, Christic light, along your spine, calling in those codes, and then stepping into those new potentiations of who you now are after that clearing has been done, that releasing has been done, and why your bodies go through so many shifts when you're entering into an activation phase. You're activating new growth, and then you integrate that new growth, through your seeking, through your wanting new patterns, through your practicing new patterns. That's the integration phase. And so, this wholeness, this allness of all that you are is the understanding that on right now, your oneness with Source, you're able to feel a series of timelines of yourself on them. And I'm going to give this in just the way that I can explain it, but remember that when we say when we're offering what we're offering the Christic understanding, which is allness, it's oneness. So this is not limited to what I'm saying in my words. It's the only words that we have to explain what I'm experiencing and what I'm showing you. As you're moving into this new integration of your allness and opening up to and having fun to more of your allness, you are now able to feel 5 or 6 or 10 timelines that you're now threaded on. And some of them still carrying the residue of those timelines that might be more painful in vibration, and some that are very high vibrational, because Source and your teams and your soul will always work it out so that you always have new to reach for. But because, this is important, and this has never been talked about before, so everything that we're offering in the last couple of days is really new. Because we're now stepping into these new experiences as going into 5D and new experiences of who we are as allness, as Source, as human spirited essences, we're still carrying those residue of those timelines that were still very painful and hard to step out of, because the ego and the psyche and the imprints and the codes that we're here to transcend and clear out through our now knowing of who we are. This now reality counts. This now reality, I choose higher vibrational choices. This now reality, I have the tools, I have the wisdom, I have the wherewithal, I have my centering to make a better choice. So there's still residue from those timelines that were very, very traumatic, especially if you're also releasing karmic relationships that were a part of those timelines. And so it's really, really important that we start talking about this, because there's so many people out there that are feeling depraved because they feel as if they don't have the tools to step out and start something new. They're feeling boxed in or in bondage because they can't start something new. Because they're not especially if you're highly empathic and psychic, because you can feel all of those residues and all of those thought forms that are still within your allness, that is just the residue that needs to be cleared and cleansed. Knowing that, because oftentimes, as you're ready to step into something new, you do have to clear that residue. And it's that constant returning to center. No, my now reality creates something new. My now reality says, that was the past other timeline. That's not this timeline. I pull the wisdoms from that timeline. I allow myself the forgiveness and the compassion from that timeline. I choose to close off those karmic cycles of that density and negativity and toxicity. And now this timeline, I create this. I mean, that's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. And that's been the last 5 years of my life. That's what I mean, we're accelerating. So as you're accelerating, you're carrying in unknowingly. You don't necessarily know this unless you can feel it. And I can feel it and I can see it. And why my teams are talking me through this. It's often just good enough just to be present. And anytime a thought comes up that is still part of an old pattern or program, just release it and return to now. Now is a new reality. Now I get to choose new. Now I choose from a loving space. Now I choose to learn my lessons through love. Now I choose to learn my lessons through forgiveness. Now I choose to be accepting of who I am and loving of who I am and my compassion for who I am. Therefore, you're taking on that allness code, that allness vibration of also those lifetimes that are allowing you to experience those higher vibrations of you in those timelines, different timelines. See if you're just taking on these pack. We're just going to give this just an example because it's allness. It's all now, it's all here, all timelines, all lifetimes, all forms, all you, all now. I'm just giving this to you because it's what our brain can compartmentalize to understand what's really happening as we cycle in the time of now. There's only now. There is no past, there is no future, just now. If you're still clearing the residue of, say, 8 timelines from 3 to 5D, you have the potentiation as you're clearing them, returning to center and loving you, opening up to a higher vibrational packet of code and love for your souls and your higher self and your oversouls and oversouls of all souls, depending again on all the councils you belong with and what you're here as a light being to have fun and play in light and help humanity and evolution, all of those experiences. Remember, it's a far grander program than you understand. But those will also be activated to say, well, I can pull in that code that I need right now because this is really, really excited and I want to play with. And that's what those higher vibrational codes allow us to do. Not necessarily be faster or more efficient at what we're doing. Yes, that just comes naturally because they're not in the egocentric experience of doing all the time. It's all spirit. They know all in every moment they need to know it. They don't have to study and have 1,000 books on their shelf because they have the information within them of those books. They wrote them. So what we're saying is that the allness that you're experiencing is the oscillation and acceleration that is love. Love is the most powerful experience. And those timelines that you're clearing residue from, this is what they're showing me, is that every time I go into a new space of knowingness of me, there'll be a residue of something that was. And because this is the blessing of God, this is so profound, this is so new. Because this is a now moment of acceleration of who I am becoming. And so too are all you. Because there's yous that are out there now that are tuning in for the very first time, and you just need to hear this because you get it about what you feel and how you feel it. When you're intending to move in a consciously aware experience, that allness of you that's still residue, that says you still have free will at any moment to create whatever reality you want. But because of the now cycle of who we are, you still have to every moment still create the inner standing of who you are inner, the soul of you, the renewal of who you are as a soul, to say, yes, this is my new timeline right now. It's my new timeline right now. Right now I choose from love. Right now I choose from love. And until you live within this fullness of who you are and be in love with it and be in joy with it and just play as you are, those residues will still come in until you fully release those pains, until you fully release those beliefs, until you fully release all those fears, because those are attached to, say, 8 or 10 timelines. And just clearing once is not going to do it. It just doesn't. It can if you understand fully, completely that you are source within and without all things. But most people, because of how we've been patterned, it's a practice. Mastery is practice. And that's why this lifetime is so profound. It's so profound. Because some of these things that we've been working on are like, thousands of years of density and karma that have been very traumatic. And you can't just say, I'm waking up and I can do this. Yes, you can. You have the ability because you're source. But 10 lifetimes of steeped abuse because of giving your power away, it's going to take, a couple years of your inner work, of your self-love, and say, no, I get this. And every moment you're offered something new in that package of information to say, I'm creating a new reality, because each and every one of us are creating a new reality. Each and every one of us. We've never been here before. It's amazing. And from the inner part of who I am, I'm releasing all those fears that thought I needed anybody, to create my safe and beautiful and abundant reality. No, I'm with God. I can create through me. My gifts are beautiful. I am beautiful. And now I get to have fun and play. The more that you're in that excitement to play about who you are and be who you are in that playfulness, then those residues become less and less, because that joy and love overrides those patterns. However, what everybody has been stuck within is because what my big musing point was this morning, my mind-boggling, one-liner this morning. My teams always do that. It's like these one-liners that just leave me like, what? You know, what do you say? Like, I've been like, you know, pulling my hair out for 5 years, and you give me this one-liner and it shifts my entire perspective on the creation. And they were like, well, I was sitting there and I was musing. I've got these little dusts on my thing. And I was saying, well, how can divine feminine play? I know, right? I mean, I just feel it still sitting in the bottom of my belly. It's just like, what? How do we play? How does divine feminine play? And I'm saying that as a profound statement because this is where we're going. How can we play? And we think, as soon as we say that, and I want you to think about this, on why it's so profound, because if it's not hitting you right now, it will. If you are asking yourself, and I know there's a few of you watching right now, and I know who you are because I know you, because I'm connecting with your heart space right now, and you are saying, wow, holy cow, this is, you know, because you're similar to me in your missions here and your vibrations of being a full divine feminine in playfulness and in love with who you are, appreciating who you are, being in gratitude of who you are, and not feeling as if you've got to take on the world and put your defenses up to be that shining light that you've always been, you know, because you've been so damaged, because you've been so taken advantage of, and you've been so manipulated and lied to, and so on and so forth, you know, thinking you had to fix the world and everybody's dysfunction in it. But that those shifting and your awakening to who you are, you let all of that go. It's not your responsibility. And that's stepping into the divine empowerment of who you are. That you're only here to allow your happiness to unfold. You are only here to be your fullest and enjoy of who you are. And how can you begin to play and have fun in playing in who you are? Have fun. How can you have fun and play in who you are? How does divine feminine play? Because our roles thus then for thousands of years have been the captors, if you will, of managing, obligating, having the expectations thrown upon us from traditions and eons of traditions that have limited us in every way, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Kept us in boxes, kept us in definitions and roles and patterns. And it is no different for the divine male. Their limitations and their projections and their expectations are similar, just in a different way. But divine feminine, because it's been so egocentric, the divine male has had more experience to go and do what they want, how they want, because that's just been the role of the egocentric. Those have been the games we've been playing. Divine feminine has had very structured roles that have, you know, again, demeaned us and undermined us in every way. So working through all of those issues, you know, clearing it, now you get to this point of centeredness, say, okay, well, now what? I'd like to create something for myself. And we automatically then start being pulled back into the egocentric. Well, how can I create a business around what I'm doing? Yes, but there's something bigger. Okay, well, let me feel into this. Well, how about I just play and know that in that playing, my all vibration of who I am starts attracting clients from other dimensions, starts attracting information from other planets, starts calling in wisdoms that I've had in my DNA that get activated. How does divine feminine play? We're stepping out of these roles and definitions the soon that you accept that's not who I am anymore. I'm not setting by anybody's obligations or anybody's expectations about who they think I am and should be. That's their job to reorganize themselves. This is who I am, and I'm going to play being me. Because I know as I play, my children will be cared for and looked after. I will be creating stability for myself. I will creating the wealth and the abundance that I need. My body will be looked after. My mind will be looked after. And I get to have fun being me now. Because that's why we're all here. To step out of the old world density and darkness and fear of limitation, because that's those programs keep you in, and start playing a spirit, the essence of who you are, a spirit, to begin to play and have fun playing. We're meant to be that sacred child. And we've said it many, many times before, but today was different because I was in that higher vibrational packet space that I'd released all these old skins. Because it was like, okay, well, I've determined people around me, I've determined my role, what I do in my role, how I do it in my role, and who I'm to answer to when. No, that's not my story. If they want to go by that story, they're going to have they're going to have some clearing to do because they're like be playing by themselves. No, this is my new reality. This is how I want to create my new reality. These are the foundations and the vibrations of how I want to create my reality. And it's nothing like it was. How can I play? My intention now from my heart space will be connected with Gaia. Can I play with Gaia? I want to play with nature. I want to be that sacred child that I had come here as. Except I'm doing it in my divine feminine, mature, honoring, leadership, healing, everything that I want to be as a divine feminine. And I'm going to be playing in those experiences now, allowing myself to play because I've released those obligations that no longer suit me. It's not a part of my vibration. I'm letting it go. I choose to let these go. It's not me. I will not be held responsible for others' choices. I will not be held responsible for others' experiences. I'm not. People want that of you because they know you can and you can do it quite efficiently. And you're the one that is, blamed for any tiny little thing that goes wrong. Whatever those minutiae were in all of those other realities. And we're still clearing them, right? Because it's still in the consciousness that we have to clear. But as we're stepping up to those new packets and new codes, we still have that residue. And then you sit in your moment and you just sit, okay, well, that's not that reality. Right now, I choose to create in love. And I choose to create from my sovereignty of releasing all cords and all attachments and all stories and all codes and all projections and all imprints that held me anything less in that limitation. Because I'm choosing to step out of it now. But there will be those cyclical residues that will come up just as quick little thoughts. No, that's not who I am. This reality is being chosen from a higher vibration of love and joy and play because I'm ready to play now. And that vibration of play starts to magnetize those experiences that you really want to have as a spirited essence. Money will be a part of it, absolutely. And your beauty and your richness to be, the experience of who you are, the beautiful things you want to experience, because that's also what they offered me is how can you play as a divine feminine? What does that look like? What does it feel like? What's the vibration of that? Because that's what we're here to anchor. How can divine feminine play? We've been subjugated for thousands of years. What does it look like? What does it feel like? How can you show that to others and be the fisher of play? And what they were showing was that, can you bring that spark back, please, again? How are we playing and being beautiful in that playtime? That is the energy and the essence of divine feminine. Knowing that you're beautiful and you're perfect right now. Right now you're perfect. Right now you're perfect. Right now you're God's essence. Right now you're an infinite soul that is the essence of God. Right now you are a beautiful soul. You are the essence of God. Right now you're a beautiful playing star on this planet. Right now you have the beautiful capacity to have all of your tools come together in sacred play. To be this beautiful essence that you are of source. You are a human essence that's creating in all multidimensional ways. When you live and you breathe from the space of spirit, you're allowing yourself to bring beauty back, to live as the beautiful essence that you are. So today's offering, we wanted you to ponder and think about these transitions that you're moving through vibrationally will allow you to still sense and feel those residue experiences that you just realign to and say, that's not the reality I'm creating. Because that's the blessing and the gift of Source. Source will always give you that free will. Are you sure you want to create whatever reality you want to create? And oftentimes your teams will keep coming and showing you, especially if you're going through something that's, a big life experience where you're letting go, relationships that are not serving, where you let go of experiences and dramas or behaviors and patterns that are not serving. Your teams it's not an overnight thing. It takes time because it's related to a multidimensional experience, 8 timelines. And why oftentimes people have such deep triggers in those experiences. It's not for any other reason that it's steeped, and each soul has to come to the table and say, is this serving? And very quickly, they'll most often than not say, no, it's not. Nobody's happy in the experience, not in any way. It just feels harder than it might because it's steeped in 10 timelines. You don't know that unless you can feel into it. But oftentimes there's so many people that are saying, well, why does it keep coming back? Why do I keep attracting that certain person? Or why do I keep attracting those types of energies and experiences? Because it's steeped with 20 lifetimes. And it's a minutia that takes, your daily self-care, your daily self-work. And the more that you do that, standing in your power, speaking to yourself, speaking to yourself, speaking to your fields, your positive affirmations, your Christic toolkit, the more that you do that and live as this essence of who you are as divine feminine, then you're healing those wounds that are deeply, they're psyche wounds, they're mental wounds, they're physical wounds. Those are imprints that you carry in your bodies and your fields that through 20 lifetimes, you're here to clear. You're here to clear. You're here to clear. And your chakras. So you're just clearing them out. You're just clearing them out. And there will be that residue. And why that daily, again, self-clearing. Self-clearing is so important. So as you're clearing, you say, I'm releasing this residue of lack. I'm releasing this residue of lack. And spend one day just with the intention to clear lack. Then the next day, I'm clearing this experience and this intention that I have to, that I succumb to anyone else's idea of who I am than my own. You know, it's true self-awareness, true self-confidence, true self-clarity. And I get that from me, my highest counsel, my oneness with source, my oneness with my higher self and my soul. That's all I need. And I will not fall victim and perpetrating anybody else's expectations and obligations of me. No, that's how you build the strength of your light field, so that you're not creating and co-creating experiences of, you know, abuse of power and abuse of control and manipulation and so forth, narcissism and whatever else we call it in definition. They're just karmic patterns of control. It's all it is. It doesn't have to be anything more than that. And sometimes we get often sidetracked by the names because they are triggers, right? It's 20 lifetimes. So now you get to say, okay, well, how does a divine feminine play? Well, we often think, you know, we often go back to the patterns. Okay, well, how can I play? The first thing we usually think about, you know, it's I want to play with my kids. I want to be with my kids. I want to have fun connecting with my kids. I want to be with my kids. They make me happy. That's how I play. That's how we've always played as divine feminine. You know, my teams are queens, go deeper. You know, and there's more to your playfulness than your children. And I got stumped. I'm just like, okay, how do I play? You know, and so then, okay, well, animals and Gaia, obviously. I mean, I love Gaia. I can communicate with her and the animals and the totems, and they're okay. And they're saying, okay, more. And I was like, more? There's more? What do we do? What do I do? I don't know. You're kind of being put on the spot by all of your multidimensional teams and beings, and they're laughing, having the joy of their life because they're playing, having fun watching us be stumped about playing. You know, I think if we play, that's all we do is play. There is no such thing as work. You know, a spirit. A spirit is the essence of the joyful alignment and flowing song of God, the love of source, the spirit, the creator is all that is. The flowers and the trees and the grass and every grain of sand. It knows its place and is just being. How have we mixed it up? And you go right back. All of the patterns of fear. How fear controls you and limits you and sends you spiraling in minutiae cycles of not being. It's so profound, right? Like, how have I spent so long not being? I'm 51. And this is my personal expose. You know, my first paragraph of my memoir. I'm 51 and I want to play. I'm a grand soul. And I'm pretty profound and I want to play. I'm here in that playing, creating a new earth vibration. And in that play, I will remember myself as the allness that is source, divine feminine, masculine, co-creating brilliance and genius and illumination. And in hopes that in doing so, I inspire others to tap into who they are at their heart level. And they start asking themselves, how can I play today and really be joyful playing as me? Not having to be anything outside yourself, knowing that you're completely enough in all that you are, knowing that you've come with the great gifts and creative tools and ecstasy, to live in bliss, to live the dance and the song that you are. And if I inspire one person, 10 people, and 100, I know that I've had a great life. I've never, ever, ever, in all of my years, I was having a conversation with my kids, and we've often talked about what they think success is and fulfillment is. You know, and sometimes the conversation is, well, you know, to have like $5 million in your account. And I say, okay, well, if you were at your last day and you had $5 million in your account, what would success be then? So it's very fleeting. And the material is a part of our journey. But I know for myself, and this is how a part of my soul has always been served and how I've always returned to that purity of my heart, is that when you live from the purity just to know source and just be in that elegance, and the vibration of God just lives through you. Just to be in that moment of appreciation with that flower or with that animal and that pet and that beautiful child in front of you. And you feel into that depth of playfulness, that this is source, just connecting those threads of oneness, connecting those threads of allness, connecting those threads of wow. I've cleared all that density to reach this moment right here of unconditional and profound appreciation for all life. And you feel all of those threads of your allness coming back and saying, wow, I can appreciate me in a new way and I want to play. I've held myself back in all of this density, taking on other people's stuff, you know, because it was just always practice that I was taking it, but it was just a misinterpretation and a belief that was not mine. And I'm changing lineages to say that I'm not taking on other people's stuff. I'm only taking on what I create right now. Right now I create goodness. Right now I create love. Right now I create appreciation. Right now I create play. And all things are served. It's never been an intention for me. I've never ever said an intention of having so much money in the bank. It's been a byproduct of how I can serve and be of service, and how I can use and be all that I am of service to light and love. This is the icing on the cake, some of it. The other icing on the cake would be to have great friends and great network that want to support light program growth. To really getting down on the ground and being rich with love, being rich with nature, being rich with the elegance that is source. Like why planets just don't, you know, whip off and bang into each other. And I said that to my son the other day. I said, have you ever just thought like how we move and we rotate within the galaxy? Have you ever thought about that? How we're not just falling off the planet? Like think about the elegance of why we're here. There's a plan, there's a design. And you're held within the beauty of it. You're held within the beauty of it, and for no other reason. And this is profound, and it'll make your heart break open and open and open again, because you've had so many beliefs pasted on you and veiled on top of you, or blamed and projected at you because someone wanted you to be something you weren't. Because their needs weren't met and fulfilled to who they were. They didn't know how. They weren't taught. And so you took on other people's projections of trying to make others happy and block who you were at the basis of who you are as source, but just to be in loving joy of expressing who you are as love and playfulness. That's what source desires of you. The money will always be offered to you in your playfulness. The love will always be offered to you in your playfulness. But each and every one of us are here to say, okay, now what? This is where I am in my life. This is what I've done thus far. And I've been aligning with my purity of my integrity as often as I could, even in the face of such profound challenge and drama and trauma that I've experienced. And I've still awoken every day and returned to my heart and say, today I will make great light. Even when I didn't believe in myself and everybody else left and there was nobody left but me. I went through all of it by myself. And I don't recommend that. 15 years I've been on this path and I've been doing it on my own. And it's hard, so hard, oh, so hard. That's just the awakened state. There was various stages of awakening throughout my 51 years, but the 15 years of ascension has been that conscious awake state. And I've done every moment for moment of it on my own. And the last 5 years, particularly clearing out so much dark karma energies from so many different timelines, the deepest soul wounds that one can experience without any professional care at all, and nobody by my side. They're so profound. I'm so proud of who I am. Through the love of God and my ancestors that are all here, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. And of course, my kids. You know, all of us that are mothers know that. But now the Divine Feminine are saying, okay, the hard part's over now. You've done most of all of your clearing. The hard stuff is over now. Now you're here to love who you are. You're here to open up that heart You're here to open up all that you are and remember who you were born as. Remember who that moment you chose to come into this planet, before you took on all of those densities of others and all those programs and patterns of others. And you came here shining to say, this is going to be my chance where I can bring the best of me here. That's your rewrite, that moment right there. And let all the rest go. Let it go. Because you've cleared it. You don't have to keep reliving those stories. And who you became in those stories when you took them on to clear them. The density of your parents, the density of the dysfunction, the density of the lineage, the density of the heritage, and the disenfranchisement, the abuse. You don't have to relive them anymore. They're done. And they just go, those particles are gone. And your heart just opens up. So blessed to share my story with all of you. I'm so blessed. And the Holy Mother and all that, the highest, I would create the highest appreciation of ceremony. The highest mothers and the sisters creating the highest appreciation and gratitude for all the mothers and the sisters. And they say, here we are, we're being born again. We're being born again. This beautiful new essence of life. And we create the radiance of love and the radiance of love. And whatever residue comes up because of those fears that say, am I worthy to be reborn again in new light? And you clear those residues and say, yeah, I'm worthy, Mother. I'm worthy to receive you. I'm worthy to receive you. I'm worthy to see myself anew. I'm worthy to play new. I'm worthy to come forward anew. I'm worthy to be myself anew. I'm worthy to call in a soulmate. I'm worthy to call in soul tribe. I'm worthy to call in the best of me, the most enlightened aspect of me. I'm worthy to call in my celestial, my galactic codes that allow me to be even more of me. And I send in this beautiful golden ceremony of light of all that is the Mother that is here to enliven and inspire and birth new light. And the Holy Mother, the heavens come and they reach with you and they say, you're born again. You're born again. Play. You're not here to prove anything to anyone. Just play. Play, little children, play. And are we not the happiest when we see our children just play? How have we forgotten? The highest appreciation and gratitude. The infinite beings that are here supporting us. And when you have those epiphany moments, it's not meant to be so hard. Right? Be peaceful and be playful. Honor one another for where you're allowing each other to reach in deeper levels of devotion and love and gratitude and appreciation for the sacred ceremony that's in all moments. The remembrance to be the gorgeousness, your worthiness to say, this is my sacred life, this is my sacred nice, and I choose right now, I choose this timeline now, I choose this timeline to be this blessing. And I release all energies of residue that still held me in lack, because I am worthy of this sacred life. I reborn myself sacred, and I will play. I am a golden child, and I will play. I have a golden voice. I have golden energies, and I am here to play. The Holy Mother and the Holy Father support me, and all of creation supports me in this self-love. And we are reborn, the highest ceremony of self and the love of self. As we want to provide every child, hold everyone in the Most High, respect them fully and completely, unconditionally, without conditions, and honor them as the highest masters of light that they are. Every vessel is a master of light. To remind all else that you're light. You're perfect. Play, children, play. Play. Because when you play, you open all that you are as source. Your creativeness, your wisdoms, your intelligence, your vivaciousness to be you. And for, again, only the reasons that you would just love playing with source as love. How can you play? And be okay with you come up when you try and think about, and you just soften into those highest, I'll call in the highest, I'm sending the highest ceremonial light. Thank you, Holy Mother and Father, for allowing me the sacred experience with all my ancestors to remind me about how special I am and how much I've done. I'm so grateful that I will remind myself about the depth of my profundity. We get reminded about, well, I've got to think about the bills and think about this and think about that, and be okay just to release those, and then return back to how can I play? How can I be me as the essence of source, as the essence of spirit and love and play? And you'll get more comfortable with living as a 5D spirit that is creating form from that. And as doing so, living from this beautiful, playful space of unconditional vessel of light that you are. And you're just finding that greater comfort in those higher packets and resonances that are being harmonized with your field moment for moment for moment, because you're open to it. You're not holding yourself off and holding yourself in lack from being this beautiful golden child that you get to be born. You get to rebirth with the sacredness and the highest celebrations of the heavens, highest celebrations of, I call in the highest celebrations, reverence and gratitude, and releasing those lack of self that were placed upon you, that you took on, that others projected to you, that you weren't that special and you weren't that that beautiful, or you weren't that worthy of, thinking that you could walk and talk with source and spirit. And all of the ostracizations that we all get, and the bullying that we get because others are fearful of our light or how we shine, or may not understand, and that's okay. So that's not their vibration, you know, and soon enough, you'll be vibrating with those that get that vibration and want to move within that vibration. And then they'll be shifting out and moving with those vibrations as well that want to play in those experiences. It's all a divine shifting and orientating, and it's an elegant system that it's just beautiful. We don't have to control any of it. Just live in joy and be playful. Be playful. And we thank you, dear lighted ones. We wanted tomorrow, or maybe later on today, we'll do another one, because I want to do thank you teams, and thank you, beautiful Gaia, and the beautiful ceremonies. I'm a rainbow, the highest rainbow experience of appreciation. My gratitude bubbles, gratitude bubbles, gratitude bubbles. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, gratitude bubbles, in appreciation and happiness and joy for being with me at all times. I will be bringing a video of our second part 2 of playfulness, and part 2 of being playful and divine feminine. How does divine feminine play? That we can offer this as the fishing experience and illumination, and exemplifying playfulness for the sacred children and the earth, as we are creating new templates of new timelines. Totems and animals and Gaia and nature energy as part of that play, because that's really, really so important to divine feminine playfulness, because divine feminine is that energy of life-giving and nurturing and gentleness and caring, and who is our best representative of that divine feminine energy? The Divine Holy Mother, through the representation of Gaia, and all that Gaia offers us to understand and honor and learn and play with, the nourishment that she offers, the blessings, the beauty that she offers. And again, that's part of that beauty experience that is the divine feminine, that empress energy. How do we bring beauty into all that we are? By simply receiving and knowing ourselves as the vessel of beauty, and allowing the manifestations to flow through all that we are as these higher vibrating beings of love and light and playfulness and joy, and creating beauty through the Holy Mother Father, those vibrations that are very powerful. We're not creating something from nothing. Yes, we are. However, when you're in alignment with your allness, it is the Holy Mother Father, it is the essence of God and Spirit and Source that creates that. And so when you're in that experience, you absolutely know that that is the alchemy of your oneness with Source. You're not doing it by yourself. You're just not. There is no ever separation. That's what feels so good. That essence, what just brings you to tears, you know that you've harmonized with Source. It's undeniable. You can't explain it. You just drop to your knees. You know you're harmonizing with Source. It's beautiful. And you see things and you know things, and things just turn on, because Source is saying, we've been here all the time. You just didn't know that you were worthy enough. You didn't think that you were worthy enough to see us in this way, to feel us, to be us in this way. But that divine feminine is showing you there's elegance and there's life and there's beauty everywhere. We are the embodiment and the vessel of love and light. How can we bring this to a new vibrational standard? For no other reason than to play, to be it, to be the vibration of beauty and play. Doesn't that sound fun? Doesn't that just wipe off your to-do list? You know, we all need those tasks to keep us on point at times, but don't allow it to change who you are as the beautiful, playful, dynamic, thank you, Holy Mother Father, as the blessing of life that you are, as the person that you can reborn in every moment to say, I'm going to play today. And sometimes we attach it to age. You know, I'm just like, oh, well, I'm 51 now and I'm feeling it, you know, more and more myself. I get to play now. I get to feel, I'm tapping into the fields and I'm tapping into Gaia again, like I used to when I was a kid, you know, because your sensitive hearts close off, you know, your sensitive hearts, you know, when you're a child. And that's why we're here healing children now, to say it's okay. You didn't have to close your heart because of what others said about you, because they didn't understand you and they didn't get your light. That's okay. You don't have to have them change you. It's a choice. But nobody's taught us how to renew ourselves and stand in our own light and our power. It doesn't matter what others say about you. It doesn't matter what the projections are. You live within the truth of who you are as the Master Jesus and Master Buddha, and all of the masters teach us. Stand in your truth. You affect all environments, all things. And if others aren't okay with it, because we're still in these transitions where there's so many people walking around in different variations of awakenedness, still are carrying some really dense and dark karmic energies, and there's a lot of suffering, mental and emotional imbalances, that's okay. Have it be okay, and just be the compassionate one that just flows and harmonizes and alchemizes highest light. And just stay in that playfulness of who you are. And detach. It doesn't have to affect you. You don't have to take it on. And just put up that love shield that just bounces it right back to them in a bubble of love. They don't get their hurt and their pain returned to them. They get it wrapped in a bubble of love, so that at some point they will see how their projections hurt and harm, and it only comes back to them. In a similar way that Source and the teams and Spirit and all that is God deems necessary for their karma to be worked out. Because at some point, everybody that moves through karma will have to sit and be accountable for their actions. And it's up to their teams and Spirit to sort all that stuff out. That's why I said yesterday or the day before that, you know, it's not up to any one of us to see and organize and figure out what karma is for anybody. That's pretending that you're playing God, and you're not. Nobody is. Just be light and be love. Everybody will get what they need to get in the way that they need to get it. Because that's the beauty, elegance of their soul's plan, of their higher self, of their soul, of the karmic board, who are responsible for who gets what and how much and why and when. Everything is organized and structured at the God level. It's not up to us to do that. And if those play in that arena that says, oh, you're going to get this because of this and you're going to get that because of that, they're asking for even more. Because that's just arrogance. And, you know, and that is only going to end up in a whole lot of karma. Some people still play like that. And again, you know, you probably wouldn't be listening to these videos if you did that. You know, but there's been many of us that have gone through situations like that, where it's just like constant drama and challenge, you know, because we can sense it all. We can sense about what's all the anger about. I don't understand what's going on here. You know, but those are just the residue of those games being played on other dimensions and other threads that are playing out in the version of this now moment. Again, the physical reality is an illusion. We are playing out the games that we need to vibrationally, because that packet of fear is still sitting in your field that you gave that power away to that person to abuse you in other timelines. Again, still illusory. You are an essence of God, and you've come here with codes and energies and the psyche wounds to play out those experiences, and we manifest those people before us to remind us, yes, I gave my power away and I will not be abused. You will not tell me what to do. You will not tell me how to walk. You will not tell me what my potential is and how I can talk and how I can move. No, I get to have sovereignty within myself, because that's what every human is remembering and learning. We are sovereign beings of light. We allow ourselves to be who we are in all ways that we are, to the exact awareness and awakening of who we are. And that dysfunction and abuse carries with so many lineages, and it's attached to so many different things in our socioeconomic, our lineage, our kosh, because again, those are linked to timelines in Orion, timelines in Sirius, where there was great control issues about resources, and Lyran, the Lyran constellation. It's threaded with so many different planets, but we're never taught this or told this at a younger age, and why it would be helpful if we did. Then when kids are going through their awakenings and they're clearing their stuff about guilt and shame and blame and control and fear, they're understanding why they're feeling what they're feeling, because they can feel other timelines. You know, there'll be timelines where my kids come and ask me a question. I'm just like, well, what's happening right now? And they're clearing it from another timeline, another planet, another form, another body. We've all played the games. We've all played the ones that have been abused. We've all played the ones that we've been the abusers. We all play all roles. We contract with each person before us to show us, okay, am I going to stand in my power? This timeline, this lifetime, this earth is about healing and returning to sovereignty, returning to oneness, so that we release all the games of lack and fear and limitation. Release those games, because we're all one. We're all one. The highest spirit level, the higher self says, I'm going to trigger you today. You trigger me. We're going to play out this game until we both choose to step off of karma. And we choose to relearn, we learn, and we practice, and we live in the law of oneness, of love. I'm not going to choose to say those things because someone that loves you would not say those things. They're going to play love now. And that person will still try and play karma. And you say, no, I'm going to play love now. And that person will still try and trigger and still try and get you to play into the karma. You say, no, I'm going to play love now. And then it gets to that point where 3 or 4 times you say, okay, I don't want to play that anymore. It doesn't feel good because you're just trying to trigger me. I'm going to go play over here with someone new. And then they say, okay, well, am I going to play with light or am I going to keep playing karma? How do I want to play? How do I want to feel? And they might still have a couple more rotations of karma. That's okay. But you can say, okay, I've learned my lesson. I acknowledge it. I accept it as a part of my story. I've given myself a few times, more than 10 times, you know, and I've chosen to still say, no, I won't engage. So now I'm going to play something new. And your vibrations will just naturally shift to something new. There is no judgment either way on any of it. It's all neutral. But we all have to learn to stand within that bubble of say, okay, let's be reborn. I want to be reborn today. Every moment you get to choose, I'm choosing to be reborn today. Today I choose a timeline that I create through love. So again, that's the other part of it was divine feminine, how can we play? Divine feminine, how do we bring beauty back through play so that we can emulate it to everyone? Because we are the nourishers and the nurturers and the life givers. And remember, divine men also have these energies within them. Divine men can balance their female energies out and say, I want to be nourishing and sentimental and emotional today, and be okay with that. And so we're going to do another video offering on divine masculine so that the men can also feel, and also women that have divine masculine that they're healing. You know, I've been in such divine masculine energy because I'm feeling of my energies to kind of stand in my power and stand in my strength to step over so many transitions and transcensions in dysfunctional energies that my divine masculine is now okay saying, okay, enough. I need a break. Divine feminine is now stepping in and saying, okay, well, how can I receive now? I want to play. I want to receive. I want to create life. You know, that divine feminine that's just like, yeah, okay, bring it. I'm ready to receive. I've done my work. You know, so that's my phase right now, is enjoying that part and that life and being happy in it. And how can we bring beauty back? And how can we create that new now timeline? So again, today we're offering you, how can divine feminine have fun? How can divine feminine bring beauty back in having fun? And step into, put a blank sheet of energy in front of you and release everything that was. And if an old story comes up, that's okay, clear the residue. That doesn't belong to me anymore. Before it becomes a part of your pattern thought. It might say, well, my mom says it wasn't okay that I play because she wasn't happy and she made me feel guilty because I wasn't happy. Or I was being happy and she wasn't being happy, and then you get pulled into those old timeline dramas. So again, let it go. That's an old story. It's not a part of me anymore. I'm transitioning it. It's all the residue. And then so you look at this blank field of energy and you say, well, how can I create this now reality? Because this now reality, there will be residue. I make that okay. But I get to recenter in source, and I get to play being divine feminine. I get to play in that divine feminine energy. I get to receive, and I get to play and feel the song of source and soften and bring beauty and gentleness and care to our timelines and our grids. And so play with that. That now creates. And so anytime you get feeling those energies of those experiences, because so many are still clearing karma and they're still in those relationships that they're transitioning out of because they're knowing that this serves me, to feel me now, to be in love with me now, to play in me now, to claim my own voice, to claim my own power, to claim my own truth and be okay with that. And still build your essence of who you are in that, because it takes practice to stand in your power and practice your truth and your beauty and your light. And then knowing that that now creates, because my focus, my intention, my heartfelt joy and my heartfelt playfulness is right here now. And those residues are still a part, and I send those residues love. They're not a part of me. They won't become a part of my full thought pattern. Now I'm co-creating this beautiful garden. And you start imagining, you start using your Christic toolkit to create this now reality. Those are part of those old reality timelines. That's okay. Your teams will assist them to be cleared out and to be pulled from your now becoming. This new epicenter of light that you're now becoming. those higher packets of light codes that you're now becoming. And it's this constant releasing of the skin and creating this new essence of light, your light body. You're constantly being transformed, constantly at a multidimensional vibrational level. That's how it feels. And so my teams were saying the other day that remember that as you're creating these new things, those old version timelines of you will still trigger you with residue. They're like vibrational pings. I feel them. You know, this beautiful veil of vibration threads. They're all threads of vibration. And those vibrational threads are also what other people send at you. And you're just sending them light. You can't touch me. You cannot infiltrate me. Standing in your power, knowing who you are, knowing how energy works. As you're stepping into something new, others will be upset about it. They're not going to understand. They're not going to want that because then it affects them and they don't know what to do. But you're then showing them how to fish. We'll go in and find your excitement. Live from that point. Having you be the best example for you and just understanding the minutia of how energy works. And then in 2 or 3 months, they're saying, well, I'm so glad you did that because now look at me. Now look what I can create. And you're like, wow, awesome. I knew you could. And just keep on that experience that those minutiae and those residues will still come. And you just send them light, send them light, send them light. You know, it's just like that big, huge mansion we all often talk about. This is why your fields turn on and how you can feel and sense things. In the house of the view, you might be sitting on the main floor in the center of the floor and you can hear things that are going off in other rooms. That's what's happening in your field of light. And you just choose to send those things light, send them light, because as you become multidimensional, you're one with all that you are. And you don't have to get pulled back into those rooms of karma. They're always going to be there because all is always source, and all of your choosing to clear, you're choosing to let go, you're choosing to live in your state of sovereignty. You get to say, I don't want to play that game anymore, source. Can you please transmute it to something different? And as source transmuted, as you choose to let it go, as you choose to acknowledge it as part of your story and you're accepting it as part of your allness, your wholeness, source transmutes it to something new. You now become available to the all that you are in those higher capacity light energies. You still have access to those stories if you want to, but they will become farther and farther apart because it's a denser experience. You still have all the information of allness that you are and all will ever be. At any moment, you can tune into it and say, what is something new that I can learn? And some of it might be a packet of, I'm saying packet because that is how energy is. It's a packet. And you can pull from it if you want, but oftentimes you won't because it's a denser experience. You don't want to go there. You want to go to where it feels really good and fun. So I'm just giving you the minutia of how it is in this all now moment. And to remember that now you create. And so not get stuck on all of that, because as we accelerate faster, anything you get stuck on is what you create. So why it's really important to say, now I create. Now I create. Now I choose from love. Now I choose from the excitement of me. Now this is where all of my energy and all of my fun and all of my beauty goes so that I create this time and I get to experience it. I choose with intention. I choose to experience this reality of love and light and beauty and fun and play. And so just understand the allness of you, how you operate in all now moments. Now I get to have fun being me. Now I choose from a place of love and I send everybody love and light because it was a part of your experience. Everyone appreciation and gratitude because it was a part of your growing. It was part of your strength. It was part of you pressing out to be all that you are. And yes, there will be residue. So just bathe and send it away. That's not me now. I'm here now. Right now is more powerful. Right now is more fun. Right now is more enlightening. Right now is more joyful for me. And I get to be here and I send everybody appreciation for supporting me in this. And so gratitude and appreciation helps you open up to that continual state of play. So we hope that you've enjoyed our experience of playfulness, divine feminine, and how do we create beauty in that, and how do we understand the multidimensional allness and those residues that we feel, and those deep karmic cycles that we're all healing, and give gratitude and appreciation to everybody in everyone's cycle, because there's so many of us that have come here with so much to clear, and so much that not every there was beings that lined up to take part of this earth, and we're just creating from a place that, wow, we have no idea how much we're doing. So really honor yourself, no matter where you are in the cycle and in the story. You have taken on so much. So give yourself love and appreciation for all that you're taking on. You know, each of us have come here with a packet of suffering to clear and cleanse. And suffering is always temporary. It's never a full, long, life-lasting thing. Suffering is temporary until we choose to release it. Release the negativity, release the density, release the darkness, and return to your reborn. Playfulness, joyfulness, all that you've always been. You've been born that way. You're perfect, you know, and it's a part of your story. So accept it all. Radical acceptance, forgiveness and compassion. At the highest level, we are threaded as one. We are a family of source. We are threaded as one. And so anybody that would love to donate for us to continue all that we are and reaching out to the infinite ways that we're able to create abundance. We're infinite ways that we create our joyfulness and our playfulness as our soul tribe, and we're honoring you in all that you are and the beauty of all that you are as beautiful, sacred being. We love you so much, the gratitude and appreciation bubbles and the beautiful sunshine bubbles and the beautiful rainbow bubbles. And we do rainbow you so much, and we love you so much, and know that you are loved by the heavens. You are loved by all that you are, and know that any moment that you're moving through a transition, just be okay to let it go and start creating those new stories to cycle in. It's when we get stuck on those old cycles of stories and you can just let it go. Your team just saying, let it go. It's not you anymore. And just let go of the density. I want to play too. So when you wake up every morning, how can I play? How can I bring my beauty back? And you'll be inspired in the most beautiful ways, because that's creation. That's what creation wants you to do. You're here to evolve. You don't evolve by being in those states of worry and negativity. That's de-evolution. Evolution is joyfulness and playfulness and having fun of who we are as creative spirits. So we thank you, dear lighter ones. We rainbow you. We love you so much. Namaste. Bye. Oh, the links are down below. And hopefully we'll get our website up soon. Thanks. Bye.